I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and this is my video blog. We're here for the 2017 Vibram Open, and it's the first day. Smashbox TV isn't live, so I decided to eventually pick up a camera and come out and film some action anyway. Wasn't sure if it was going to be shot by shot or highlights, so we're going to catch up with our champions card on the second hole. We have the amateur champion from a few weeks ago, Longeill. He's on the card, but also some other guys you've heard of, Paul McBeth, Wysocki, and Big Germ Jeremy Koling. So again, we're here on hole 2. We're gonna get things kicked off. I'll bring you in for the rest of the round. Stay tuned. You're watching Disc Golf right here with the Disc Golf Guy. And welcome everyone. It is Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and joining me is in fact Paul Ulibarri. And Paul, we're here on hole 2. Told everyone that I decided to come out and get some of this action. No one else was covering it. You're pretty familiar with all these guys, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. We got a stacked card with you mentioned the names, and then we even have the amateur champion from I believe last weekend joining them on the card. And starting here off on hole 2, it's your basic good Maple Hill par 3. You got to hit a tight gap. There's going to be OB to the right. Bunker of trees to the left, and they're all. It looks like Zach actually throws the best drive on the card there.
He does. He's out here competing again, winning the Vibram Am side just last weekend. Longeill from Team Prodigy, and I didn't find this out till after the round, as Big Germ almost makes that Zach is just 16, is what I've been told. So very impressive. So watch him throughout. He's got quite a bit of game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Paul actually went OB on that.
No, he was safe. He was just up against the wall. And we're starting things out here, and it's the second hole. We saw 2 bogeys on the first hole, and no one seems to be able to get it done here on the second hole. It's a tough hole, but there's no birdies. And we're going to move on to a slightly different tee on 3.
Yeah, this year they actually backed this tee pad up about maybe 40, 50 feet.
You were saying that they backed up this tee pad. It's a different look this year.
Yeah, they added some distance to it, and I feel like it's a good change to the hole, but I also feel like it might have made it a bit easier, in my opinion, because it allows you to kind of get a higher speed and a later flip, to where the other tee was like a really fast, tight flip of the disc. So they also added this rock OB, to where if you hit one of these early trees and you don't make the wall, you got to go to a drop zone. So
yeah, that is an interesting change. Hopefully we should never see anyone doing that, but if you yank it just right or left, you could get severely punished with an OB. And Zach's is off and to the right. Big Germ and Paul McBeth were having a very lengthy conversation. Big Germ was saying they should push the tee back another 80 to 100 feet and try and make it a par 4. And finally, after lots of pointless discussion, Paul just said, "Okay, Germ, whatever," and they moved on.
I give up.
He gave up.
Oh, and it looks like Zach caught a tree on the upshot. That's the tricky part about this hole. If you get off left or right, you're actually going to be in some heavy, thick woods. And as you can see, Zach kind of caught a guardian tree coming in. Let's see if he can make good. Can't make good, and that'll be probably a bogey for him.
Yeah, he cleans up. He'll take a bogey. He has a very smooth putting stroke. I was very impressed throughout the day watching him play. Again, a young guy playing with the best in the world here. And looks, unfortunately, like a few more pars and ultimately a bogey.
Yeah, and that's gonna be your typical score, I feel like, for the hole. You might see a birdie, but you're gonna see a couple 4s and maybe a couple 3s in there.
And one of the tightest but yet shortest holes on the course.
Yeah, and he just made that gap look really easy. That's one of the tightest gap that you'll play really anywhere in the world. It's there's also a route to the right that a lot of people are throwing like flex forehands and stuff, but a card like this, these guys have so much touch and accuracy, they're all going to probably go straight down the middle.
Pretty goofy bounce there by McBeth. It looked like he hit the gap exactly the way he wanted to, and then it kicked up and went to the right, catching a root down there. And you speak of an early tree, Zach found one, but look at this approach.
Yeah, the kid looks like he has a lot of touch and a smooth smooth backhand approach game, so that was pretty impressive. Germ catching metal, but there's not a lot you can do from that far away.
And finally, the first birdie on the card. It takes 4 holes. Wysocki is the first to card a birdie.
And I'm guessing Paul's probably going to come pretty close to making this one right. Wide open, yep, just like we thought. And there's a second birdie for us.
A little bit slower start for these guys. But Kale Laviska, if you didn't see it already, Kale had aced this hole. He played a few hours later. Zach's going to finish out the hole here. And Kale aced it as well. And hole 5, I'm over here at the catch. This is a very difficult hole to cover, especially when you're just a one-camera crew. And I'm not sure if that's wind or if he just threw it too hard by Wysocki.
It looked like it was a little early, and on this hole, you can't miss early because you'll catch those trees that normally kick you out of bounds. So it looked like he might have caught a good break there. And that's not the putt that you're going to want where McBeth goes, but he's happy to be safe, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a little too much power. He had a great angle on it, but it sailed right over the top of the basket, as does Big Germs.
Yeah, and like I said, going deep on that hole is going to leave you a very difficult putt, but it's such a relief to be safe in this hole. I know because I was not safe yesterday.
Okay, and he got a great tree on the backside there to keep him with a look, and Wysocki's going to run this. And Wysocki, we've said it before, he could shoot 18 under par and still sometimes look upset. And McBeth is going to let this easy one go as well.
And Germ just from circle's edge. And, you know, that OB right behind the basket, that's pretty close. So I'm sure that was kind of in their heads. You know, they're throwing softer runs up there.
And now here you are, a 16-year-old, and you have just taken the box from 3 of the best players on the planet. I don't know if he was thinking about that as he moves on to hole 6, which is very difficult. But I know I'd be a little giddy inside thinking, yeah, I got you guys. Let's move on to 6. And what a tee shot this is. There's OB left, there's OB right. He's carrying towards that left side OB. He gets the green paddle, so he's safe. But this is such a daunting tee shot.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher par 3s that you'll ever play. 3's almost a birdie, and all you're looking to do is hit that gap and get down there safe, and then.
And you heard Paul there say, "Don't do it." He, after hitting the tree, he just wanted to make sure it didn't carry to the right and go OB. And that could have went left OB, but it comes up short. So this is McBeth. And just a misfire. I mean, he just flat out missed the gap, almost as if he didn't commit to the shot.
It's hard to commit down that too because you have that OB on the right the whole entire way, and one mistake and you're going to kick off of one of those trees straight out of bounds. And it looks like a big gap on camera, but it's small, especially when you're back there on the corner.
And McBeth struggles, fighting his way all the way to the basket to finally card the bogey. And look at this birdie from Wysocki.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, getting it that close does not happen too often.
No, there'll probably be, I'm guessing, a handful of 2s on that hole, probably through the first round, and maybe under 20 birdies through the whole tournament.
And one from that close on top of it. We're going to move on to 7.
Yeah, and this is just, you play Maple Hill, and this is going to be the theme. Tight gap, hit the gap, and you get rewarded. So what you're trying to do is throw it as straight as possible. This looks like a great tee shot.
It really is. We saw jazz hands, I think, a moment ago by Wysocki after that one sat down. If you hit a tree, all you can hope for is to find the middle of the fairway or some kind of alley at the basket.
And you can see it's getting pretty windy at this point in the round. Trees are moving around Paul there. And he throws a great tee shot. I mean, that's the play. Throw a slight hyzer up there through the gap. give yourself a look.
Yeah, you really want something that doesn't just basically fade off too hard. So when you do get up to the gap, it has a gentle finish to it. Big germ from below the basket. He draws some metal.
Yeah, and this is one where if you get the birdie, it's great, but 3 is not a bad score. These guys are struggling a bit from outside the circle, and Zach misses his birdie bid. Zach's throwing a lot of good shots right here, though. He's thrown a bunch in a row,
and we see him make these comebackers. And some people could get nervous if you're don't step up and do those with your eyes closed like the rest of these guys. The 15, 20-foot testers could, frustrate you or get you a little flustered.
Oh, yeah,
and
they add
Zach's
up.
not had any of those problems at all. Wysocki looks it all the way in. We see him with his putting stroke throughout the last few weeks and make sure he looks everyone in, and Big Germ's in for, let's see if we can get an ace on hole 8. So at this point, we see Jeremy Koling without any bogeys, but also without any birdies.
Wow, I don't think that's what he was intending, but it's possible.
No, he when he released it, he definitely clinched up a little bit. He was a little bit worried about that one.
And this looks like a really smooth stroke. Get in there.
And when Big Germ's on the card, there's a good chance for an ace to happen. He was yelling the loudest for it.
This needs to hurry. And just miss those trees. Ooh. And that's a really good shot. He wants it to stop. He's going to have a death putt coming back at the basket.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding?
And McBeth was slipping on that tee a little bit.
Kidding me, dude?
Yeah, it looks like he's a little frustrated.
Yeah, he got up and hurried to this drop zone. That's why I barely caught that shot, because he took no hesitation. And Big Germ trying to get on the board, and he finally does it. Good putt.
Yeah, that's a solid putt. This course, it looks like he's having a slow start, but he's not making any bogeys, and he gets his first birdie there. Ricky misses something that you normally wouldn't see him miss.
No, not from inside the circle.
No.
Zach's looking inside the circle, and same exact thing.
Yeah, that might have been nerves,
when you're looking at that water directly behind the basket.
Exactly.
And McBeth, after going OB, hurries to the drop zone, throws that in, and he's literally, I think he had hit the rocks. He stepped in front, he hit the rocks, and came up short, and you're going to watch him. He's able to retrieve it just with his hand. He's that close. Let's move on to the toughest hole on the course. And we all know, hole 9 says it's a par 3. It plays close to a 4, I think 3.99 usually. And he gets the safe sign. Goes with the overhand. What do you think of that shot?
It's a really good play if you have the power to do it. Sidearm's a good play. Anything that gets to the top of the hill with some touch is a good play. But if you have the overhand, it's probably I've seen it work out the most out of anything.
It helps you with your accuracy. And McBeth hoping to get it dialed in. Now that's a really nice shot. There's going to be a little fade at the end, but I think most people would take that shot all day.
Yeah, absolutely. He even crest the hill, and Ricky's going for this. This is really surprising.
Yeah, it catches, it's high, and it follows out to the right. It does get over the island, but it ultimately goes OB. A little bit deep for McBeth, but he should have that. This is a great putt here by Germ. That's
wow.
Birdie too, and right here. I'm chuckling hard because as McBeth walked past me, he said I would have made that putt. And Germ didn't hear it, but he makes this putt, and that is a par save. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it looked like he had to split the trees there. If you go a little deep on this, it does have that kind of little tree bunker in it, and it'll make your putt difficult. That cleans up.
Yeah, any 3s out here are obviously good. A 2 is there'll only be a handful all weekend, if any. There may only be a couple.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any yesterday.
I'm not sure, but thanks for joining us. We're going to move over to the back and thanks for joining us.
Everyone, get ready for the
Hopefully he didn't
back nine. That'd be dumb. Might be.